his dog. Friends almost since the beginning of time. They have hunted together, worked the fields together, and played together. The cat, too, has long been a companion of man. Revered in one age, reviled in another. The cat has always had its uses. Throughout the centuries, however, we humans have become ever more inventive in our efforts to adapt to an unpredictable environment. Tractors and trucks have replaced horse and oxen. Chemicals are used to combat vermin, and sophisticated weapons have made the dog's job of hunter and protector obsolete. Without occupation, without territory, trying to cope with the incomprehensible technology of our modern cities, both the cat and the dog have become totally dependent on their human masters for food and shelter, for protection, and for love. We, on the other hand, no longer requiring their services, have come to view these animals as companions of leisure, as outlets for our affection, sometimes even as targets for our anger and frustrations, but most of all, as disposable products. The cries of millions of unwanted cats and dogs are lost among our concrete walls and hardened hearts. Ironically, the demand for pets is greater than ever. Pet shops flourish in every major city. There are as many types of pet available as there are reasons for keeping them. They are playmates for our children, loyal companions who never complain, friends in our lonely hours, patient with our every whim or fancy. We groom them, dress them up, display them in shows, and talk about them with our friends. Some breeds, with their inherent elegance, have become fashionable accessories, like a mink coat or an expensive car. Kennels cannot keep up with the demand for pure breed animals, resulting in the invention of a new industry: puppy mills, factories where puppies are manufactured in the crudest conditions. Many of the animals produced here have serious genetic defects and temperaments unsuitable for family life. Very little regard is given to the quality of the animals, to their maintenance and well-being, or to the health of the parents. Most of the puppies originating from puppy mills enter the market through pet shops. The purchaser very rarely inquires into the origin of the dog. Kennel associations have little success either in combating the damage done to some breeds or in efforts to direct potential buyers to approved sources. As always in our money-oriented society, the price tag decides. The balance is paid by the animals in suffering and despair. They have no choice. But the uncontrolled breeding of the neighborhood pet is a far greater problem for society. Every year, over 50 million cats and dogs are born in North America. Of these, over 10 million will not survive their first year. They are the unwanted, the surplus of our affluence, disposable. This is Nero. He is 6 months old, healthy, even-tempered, vaccinated, and condemned to die. A Christmas present that turned stale. He is one of millions of pets whose charm and beauty no longer appeal. Toys that lost their fascination. Burdens in our busy lives. They should never have been born.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I want to turn this, Doc.
What's the reason you want him turned in?
I just don't want any more.
You don't want him anymore.
No.
What's the specific reason you're turning him in?
Well, she's out, she's running around all the time, and, you know, she's just no good around the house, that's all. Well, she's having pups and litters all over the place, and...
Have you ever thought of getting your animal spayed, sir?
What for?
Well, to prevent the litters. Unwanted pets.
Well, getting spayed isn't normal anyway.
It's quite normal, sir.
The other pups aren't my responsibility.
What do you want us to do with her?
Well, you're the Humane Society, do whatever you want with her. You know, find a home for her if you can.
When animals are brought into the shelter, they get checked in at the front counter. Stray animals have a holding period during which they can be claimed by their owners. Pets that are given up by their owners can be moved into the adoption rooms immediately, depending, of course, on whether we have cage space available. There is a limit to the capacity of our shelters. I don't play games with anybody at the counter. I tell them right away that if we don't have cage space available and the owner doesn't want to wait until we have room, the animal will have to be put to sleep. Some people think we are a dumping place for all their unwanted pets. They don't care what happens to them. A pet is a member of the family, and it should be treated like one.
In every cage, lonely animals wait with uncertainty and fear. They do not understand why they have been brought here, why they have been forsaken, why they are no longer wanted. Statistics show to some extent the tragedy which we so carelessly bestow upon our pets. Every year, over 10 million cats and 5 million dogs are admitted to pounds and humane societies on this continent. Of these, over 5 million animals are found abandoned in our cities. Another 2 million are given up by their owners who no longer wish to care for their pets. Approximately 1/4 of all the animals admitted are adopted to new homes, but over 8 million have to be destroyed because they have nowhere to go. Cruelty to animals takes many forms. Most of the suffering our pets have to endure is caused by our thoughtlessness and ignorance. But in some cases, infliction of pain is a deliberate act. The files of investigation officers contain thousands of cases of animal abuse. Approximately 10,000 mistreated animals are seized annually from their owners. Although we have laws for the protection of animals, the enforcement is often difficult and time-consuming. Courts still hesitate to recognize animal abuse as a serious criminal offense. But negligence is as illegal as mistreatment. Leaving a pet unattended in the streets causes needless pain to hundreds of thousands of cats and dogs injured in traffic, and needless distress to over 2 million animals which are lost every year from their homes.
Humane Society of Sullivan speaking. Can I help you? You lost a dog? All right. Was your dog a male or a female? She was a spayed female? Okay. And she's how old? She's 4 years of age. All right. And what color is she? She's black and white, and she's a Siberian Husky. Okay, but you hold the line a second, and I'll see if anyone's called in reporting your dog lost. Hello? Yes, according to the way you've described the dog, I'm fairly certain that we have it in here. Come down before 11 o'clock this evening, and I'll let you take a look through the shelter and see if it is her. All right, fine, thank you. Bye-bye.
As an emergency driver, my main function is to pick up sick and stray injured animals. For a city this size, the rate of animals injured in traffic runs as high as 200 a week, and those are only the ones that we know about. There are always a lot of cases that go unreported. People have the attitude, it's only an animal, it can help itself. A lot of pet owners don't even bother to find out what happened to their missing pet. Sometimes they don't seem to learn until it's too late. Mobile 1 to base.
This is base. Go ahead, Mobile 1.
Yes, sir. We've picked up the injured dog at Young and Gerard. He does not seem to have any internal injuries. There's no obvious bleeding or open wounds anywhere, but he does appear to have a broken hip or a broken hind leg. We've put him on the stretcher and are transporting the dog back to the shelter.
10-4.
10-4.
My job as a technician is to care for the animals that are brought into our shelter. Some of them are injured or sick and need medical treatment. I spend a lot of time with these little guys, and I sometimes get attached to them. That makes my other duties in the euthanasia room all the more disagreeable and upsetting. We wish we wouldn't have to do this job at all, but there are just too many animals that nobody wants. We can't just leave them to their fates in the streets, starving, injured, or sick. That is really cruel. It makes me feel that I have accomplished something to see them grow and recover and being put up for adoption.
The shelter. A place to eat, to sleep, to keep warm. A place to bark and cry. A place of fleeting affection. A place to leave behind, to go home.
A lot of people come down here wanting to adopt an animal without having any idea what it means to own a pet. We always try to educate the adopter. It's hard to stress how much responsibility a pet is. For example, 6 to 8 week old puppies need feeding 5 times a day. A pet needs proper nutrition, fresh water, regular exercise, and a vet when it shows symptoms of becoming ill. It also needs love and care. We try to ensure that all animals adopted here are going to good homes for the remainder of their lives. The adopter has to understand that owning a pet is a long-term affair. Some people think they like animals. They like them as kittens or puppies. But as soon as the pet has grown up, they bring it here. Of course, the chances for adult pets to find a new owner are invariably smaller.
For the animal that has been chosen, adoption means the beginning of a new life. But for those left behind, the heartache is almost unbearable. Life behind bars is a very lonely existence. Endless time spent waiting. For the lost animals, it is the waiting for their owners to come and claim them. For the homeless, waiting for someone who will take them. Waiting for love. Waiting for someone who will appreciate their affection and loyalty. Sometimes, the only thing left to wait for is death.
People say, how can you put an animal to sleep? We try very hard to find new homes for as many animals as we can, every day. But there are only so many we can place. There are simply not enough homes available. You say to yourself, okay, I'm not God, but for some animals, death is the kindest way out. People think that we get used to putting the animals to sleep, but that isn't true. You are always aware that you are putting something alive to its death. You always wish you didn't have to do it. It demands all your concentration, and you try to put the animals through as little pain as possible. There are days when a lot of animals have to be euthanized, and it really gets to you, and you think, this isn't humane. But it is all we can do until people learn to prevent this waste of lives, to stop this unnecessary killing. That is what it is, unnecessary killing. Some people come in with a box full of kittens or puppies and say, oh, we just wanted our children to see the miracle of birth. I always feel like telling them, why don't you come in and watch the miracle of death?
All animals have the right to live in dignity and security. Mass destruction, by whatever humane method used, is not an acceptable alternative for controlling the pet population. We consider it our basic right to own a pet, all too often without regard for our fellow citizens, for the need of the animals, or for the problems caused by their uncontrolled proliferation. The first responsibility of every pet owner is to ensure that his pet does not produce unwanted offspring. The simplest and most successful means to accomplish this is through sterilization, an operation performed by every veterinarian. The benefits are manifold. Sterilized pets do not require constant guarding. Males no longer stray from their homes or fight with their rivals. Females do not plague their owners with heat periods. Spayed or neutered pets also become more affectionate and home-loving. Another more demanding form of birth control is keeping the pet confined to the home during mating seasons. At any time, dogs should be kept on a leash when taken for a walk. Pets should never be allowed to roam in the streets. And the safest place for a cat is indoors. In this way, not only unwanted litters can be avoided, but also the risk of losing a pet, or having it injured or killed in the streets, or causing offense to other people.
It has been said in the dog industry that it is the responsibility of every dog owner to make sure his dog behaves properly and has good manners. Anyone that should purchase or wants to purchase a dog should keep in mind that it is his obligation to make sure that his dog is kept under control at all times and to train him to full obedience, that he should make sure that his dog does not cause needless offense to other persons and other persons' property.
A well-trained pet is a joy to its owner. It is also more easily integrated into society. But the training requires effort and time. Sometimes, animals can prove rather frustrating, and no matter how many times they are told, cats always do what they want. Society demands from us that we control our pets. The animals themselves have very few needs. Food is of prime concern, and a balanced diet can easily be obtained from the variety of pet foods available on the market. Every public library offers a selection of books dealing with pet care and health. Obesity in pets is almost always the fault of the owner. It is the direct result of overfeeding combined with a lack of exercise. It requires a little time to play with a pet, to exercise and groom it properly. But it is also an enjoyable part of being a pet owner, and it certainly ensures the happiness of the pet. Being a pet owner is a privilege which involves responsibility. Bylaws concerning pets are sensible regulations for the protection of animals as well as society, and must be obeyed. Furthermore, voluntary preventive measures like spaying and neutering and a more considerate attitude towards both people and pets offer the only solution to the ever-increasing pet crisis. Millions of cats and dogs have walked the long, lonely road to death because we humans did not take our responsibilities seriously. Only if we learn to value the lives of our pet animals can we prevent their sacrifice.